In today's Bible passage, we have three real key characters. The first one is Balak, who is a bit of an idiot. He gets it wrong, and the reason he gets it wrong is because he thinks he can pay someone to curse God's people. You cannot buy God. No matter how much money you have or whatever it is you bargain with him, God cannot be bought. The second guy that gets stuff wrong is Balaam, the prophet. And you would have thought a prophet would never get anything wrong. But I mean, initially, this shows us that prophets are not always that prophetic, that all of us, whether we have and we move in the gift of prophecy or we don't, we will sometimes misunderstand God and we'll get things wrong, which is one of the reasons why we need church. It's one of the reasons that's so important, because we correct one another and we can help discern what's going on. But Balaam's big mistake is he thinks that God is going to change his mind somehow, that maybe if he goes, then maybe God will turn against his people. And that's a big error. And the guy that gets it right is not actually a guy, he's a donkey, an ass. And one of the things that I love about this story is it shows that God can speak through an ass. And God can use anyone. One of the things that I find just a real comfort about that is that it means it doesn't depend on our strengths. And hearing from God, sometimes you meet people who seem to just really understand the Lord. They seem to be his friends. Actually, hearing from him is not about our strengths and our abilities. It's always about his kindness. The donkey was able to see, and partly that was the kindness of God trying to help Balaam realize that he was doing something that maybe he shouldn't have done. Number one, it's about his kindness. Number two, actually, we do play a role, and we see Balaam where he does get something right is when he says, "Can you stop playing on your iPad?" Where he does get something right is where he says, "Look, I can only say the words that God has given me to speak." I'm getting distracted by the fact that Mike is just sitting next to me now, but it's about, yes. Thank you. It's about availability is what I want to say. So it's not so much about our abilities as much as it's about our availabilities and our obedience. And it's always been like that. And it's like that throughout the whole Bible. God chooses all these people who you really wouldn't have picked, but they somehow manage to play a massive and a key role in his plan. And also when he comes himself as Jesus, he picks 12 disciples who, again, you wouldn't pick those guys. They really weren't the standout from the crowd sort of characters, but he chooses them. And because they're willing to follow him and because they're willing to obey, he can use them. If God can use a donkey, if God can use a Greek, he can use me and he can use us. So be encouraged.
That's the worst Bible in a year explanation I've ever heard. It's rubbish.
Shut your mouth.
Shut
All right.
yours.
See you soon.